Hello and welcome to this week's live presentation on the latest version of the Scriptcase security module. My name is Jamie and I am here to present all of that to you guys here today. So as you may see on your screen, I have here a very basic project with some applications that I have previously created with some just default data. Nothing special. I haven't done anything with these applications, but really what I want to do now is just imagine that as the project that I have been working so hard on. So now I want to come up here to the modules and actually go ahead and add security to this. Now, if you do happen to get a little error message like I just have received, then, it's good to report it. But in most cases, you'll probably find it won't really, cause any issues. Okay, so if I just go ahead now and on our first screen here, we start to notice some changes versus the previous version. So all of our profiles, they're nicely displayed here. And we can actually just go ahead and edit those settings. We can use those settings or delete them, of course. And we can also create a new security module, which I'm going to go ahead and do. Now, there are 3 security versions, so to say. LDAP is included within the group. So really, we don't count that one. So I do sometimes say that there's 4 because it looks like there's 4 when you count the LDAP and LDAP application. But really, there's just 3 because LDAP uses the group authentication and then just allows authentication via the LDAP server. Now we have then also the application version and user version. So each of these will work, of course, depending on how you want to generate your security. So if you want a user-based security where it's based on a user level, where you assign applications to a specific user login, then you just assign here the user. Well, you use the user security type. Now, if you want to base it on applications so that then the applications are basically assigned to the user, not the other way around, then you can use this one. Now, generally, we go with the group. And the reason why we generally go with a group is because, well, it incorporates all of these. And in general, it really is just the best one to go for. It gives you more control over everything. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and choose that. And right here, I can now choose my connection as we were able to previously, of course, which with a much nicer interface. So here I will choose my connection. I will use my existing tables. Okay, so I will pretend at the same time that I have already previously generated security and I just deleted it, which is generally what I would do so that I have those security tables within my database, and then I can already create some, links from other tables that are then related to the user login and so forth. So we will use our pre-existing tables, and here I can, of course, if I choose to create new tables, I have here also then the option to delete the tables if that they already exist. And I do already have them. As some of you may have noticed, I do actually have an error when I go create those tables. That seems to be just me, so I wouldn't really worry about that too much because on another server it's working beautifully. But in today's video, in today's live session, the main idea is that I also show you how to deal with your old security. So if we just imagine some of those points, we have our applications there and we have previously generated our security. We have versioned our project because that stage is very important. Do go ahead and version it because then you will still have the old security applications available saved up there in the old version. And of course, you can then recover those applications and import them if you have any problems. But in general, you should be fine, I think. Okay, so we have here the option to protect logged in users as well as to use social networks. So the options for this first page have not really changed. Okay, they are still the same as they were previously. Now, if I go next again, we have now a much cleaner interface for applying those tables. Or if I had already chosen them, then of course those would then already now be filled in. So I'll just go ahead and choose all of the fields I have from the previous table that I have, either created myself or added within the security. So I have here no position. Okay, so we'll have to deal with that one. We have here also email. So let me go make sure we have all of our fields here. Active, activation code, administrative privileges. That's that one. We have here also our picture, two-factor authentication. That was here the MFA. And the last password change was there. Now we have all of these but position, or did I just miss that? MFA, picture, role. We don't have anything here for role, do we? So I'm just going to choose here the role field, which is then probably a field I had there previously. So I will choose that and use that here as the position field. Otherwise, what I would generally do is just come in here to the database builder, access then the database, and then just scroll down here to where we have that table then here. So sec users, and then in here we can alter the table and just scroll over here and very simply add another field. And then I would just call that position. Maybe I wouldn't want to place that in between my login and password, but you get the idea. Okay, so with those fields applied for the user table, I can then go ahead and choose here the group table. I have here the ID and the description, and then the application table. Now, application, I just went past it there, sec apps, app name, description, and type. And then choose the user group table, groups users, login, and then the group ID, group application, and that is then the sec groups apps. And here we have then the group code, which is then the group ID, application name, access privilege, insert, delete, export, or print, export. Print is at the bottom here, and there we also have then the update privilege. So update. Okay, and here in settings, we just need to again choose then the sec settings table, add then the set name and set value as those fields, click next, and we can then start to configure how we want to have our database, or our security generated. Now, in general, pretty much everything you configure now here is also available within settings of the deployed security environment that you create for your project. So you could essentially just go ahead and click generate security and then deal with the majority of these settings here later on. Now you may want to set the prefix of the applications you are generating and change the folder. But when it comes down to here, enabling the security, remembering the login, the session expiration time, and so forth, the theme, logging, and everything. Well, the logging you would also want to apply now. If you have generated or created a security log, of course, then you would want to apply that now also. Otherwise, you would have to just use the Scriptcase macros and add the logging yourself within those applications. Now, if you have not created a menu, then you will not have any menus available here. And of course, the security will generate one for you. Now, there are a few themes here available, which match then, of course, those available in Scriptcase. So you can just pick the theme that you like most, and you're pretty much ready to go. Now, you do have here, of course, then further tabs to apply. And some of these new features that we have here, for instance, the login mode, username, username and email may be a little confusing for some, but this is all dealt with within the applications generated now within the security module. So you don't really have to worry about any of that. After the point of login, you continue to use the global login of the user login. If that's how you have it previously configured, then that's how you can continue applying that. Otherwise, if you would go ahead and check then the code within the login application, you will notice that there are also further global variables being set, such as the user photo, as well as the user group, and a few others that are also available within the menu, for instance. So you can, of course, check those out and change those as you please if you really need to. Now here for our login, as I mentioned, we can leave the majority of this as it is. Now it is, I would say, important, and I see here now that MD5 is mandatory, so that we're forced now to actually add our security, which is really cool. And that way, at least somebody doesn't generate their security without mistakes. So do be sure that you choose the security that you want to use for your application, whether that be MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, or 512. Now, the preference, well, that's really down to you, but it definitely is worth looking up. Okay, so we have below that here the option to set our captures. We can have a capture or recapture if we wanted to. If I choose it, then I need to add here my secret and site key. For capture, well, we'll just add a new capture field, and it looks quite nice, it does. So let's enable capture for this one. I will change the login mode to username and email, so it will be either. And the login label position, well, we'll just leave that as above. Now at the bottom here below that, we have further options to display the language selection at login. So yes, the login page, whether generated with the HTML template or with the default Scriptcase login application, you can have already the languages available that are available for your project. So for this project, if I just come in here to my properties, you will see here I have added multiple languages: English, German, Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian. And each of those languages will then become available within the security. And of course, that has just killed the security now. So I need to go through all of that again, would you believe? That's no fun, is it? So let me just choose those options really quickly. I have to use those existing tables because it's going to delete my other tables, and I don't have a fix for that yet. So sec users, login, password. So of course, it's not a good idea to be jumping around within other modules and properties of your project when you're generating your security. So you may want to make sure you have your themes that you want to have. You can have them before or after, as well as the languages. So you don't have to add them straight away now. You can actually add them later on at a later time. So that's not a problem at all. So I'll just generate all of these really quickly. Active, administrative privileges, priv admin, and then our activation code, MFA, and our picture, and that's change. Okay, and of course, yes, that is a little painful, isn't it? Having to do all of these again. But that is the price, of course, of showing you guys what needs to be done. And of course, when you actually apply this, you should just do it with one fluid motion, because you're not going to be going back and forth like I am here for you guys now. Okay, so user groups, login, group ID, and group application. If you're not entirely sure what these application or tables are and so forth, there are a ton of videos already that we have on generating and applying these fields. So you can, of course, go ahead and check any of those. And for sure, in some of them, they're going to be a lot slower than what I'm actually choosing all of these options right now. Okay, so, and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask, of course. So do please ask any questions that you may have. I think we will have time for them. So, okay, so back in our login, of course, we've seen everything we've got here. We can set out a cookie expiration time, when sessions expire, and so forth. Now, let's talk about this expiration for a moment, because we have here our cookie session time and we have here the session expires. So when the cookie session time expires, and well, here our session has essentially expired, or, it's going to time out as well. So, we have then an option whether we want to redirect them to the login page, display a message that redirects them to the login page, which is probably the more friendly way to go around that. Now, the cookie session time, I like to have it around 6-7 days, because if you think it's a work week, everybody's going to come back for the week work, and then they're going to go, and then they will return. And well, when they return, they can log in again, and yeah, they can log in again. Exactly. So with that, I think it's really the best methods, well, the best settings that you could apply there. But of course, you have your own that you may want to choose. So again, here I will choose the encryptions as well as the login mode to username and email. I will add here also the captcha. And I want to display the language selection at login. And next to that, we can now assign here the password strength. So I can dictate whether the password needs to have or requires capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, special characters. So I could say in this case, well, just capital letters and lowercase letters, or all of them. Okay. And then we also have the last password change. So we can actually enforce that passwords are changed after so many days. So here, if I would set 7 days, then maybe that would be a bit mean. And, but in general, that again would be down to you. The duration that you like. I prefer to have something longer there with two-factor authentication and everything else going on. I don't think you need to enforce a password change every few days or every month, or, you know, but again, that will be down to you. Now you have here the login field, minimum and maximum size, as well as the password minimum and maximum size. And of course, you know, the minimum is 5. I prefer 6. I think 6 is a good place to start. Or if it was up to me, a minimum of 32. But yeah, you can't have everything, and at the same time, you can't really enforce 32 character password on people. That's a bit harsh. Now, with this, I can of course use here a template if I have templates available. And like you see, I have here a template already assigned, so I will choose here the login 01. Now, I don't know if this is the old login or the new login, so I have no idea if that is actually going to show me the new login interface. So let me come into this anyway. I will edit that. So if I didn't have any library assigned there, I could choose here the edit button, and then I could use here the samples library. So I'll save that one, and I'll save it for my project. I'll just call it samples_1. Save. If I scroll all the way down, it then becomes available here within my project. I can then use that library, scroll down again, and then save here the project library files. And if I come here to edit, I can then check out what is available in here. So we have here some form examples, some login templates, as well as some menu templates that you can then go ahead and use. And I see, well, I actually went into the JS folder there. I'm clicking a little fast here. By the looks of it. Okay, so that's the external libraries anyway, and with those assigned, I can just go ahead and click the refresh button here, and then now I have the other forms available. So I will go in login 01 there, and come back up here to the top. Now I have here email settings, and as annoying as it is, I need to enter something in here, because otherwise it will not let me generate the security. Okay. Now, of course, if you have an API selected or one available, you can just choose here the API, refresh that again, or click here the edit, and then we can assign here maybe an API for that. We just need to click then here the checkbox. And let me actually maybe see about checking one of these if we have one here. No, that's Stripe. And I don't actually have any for email set up on here. Okay, that's a shame. So with that, then I will just have to enter some details in here. So I'll do that, and otherwise you would choose your API. Now, the reason why I don't have any API saved is because I actually just don't have any in this environment. Okay, so on the users tab here, we can then specify if new users are allowed to register with the platform. So you can remove the create an account from the login page. Excuse me. Now you can also enforce that when they register for a new account, that they then also require activation by email. And this would basically enforce confirmation that the email address is in fact a valid email address and working and theirs. So this is probably a good idea to have on all the time. And of course, the option to send an email to administrator that's entirely up to you. I would definitely go for it. Now you have here the option to retrieve passwords also, so we can actually change how this works. We can reset password and send a new one by email, send an email by password, or send an email with a link to set a new password. Now I prefer this one myself, so that when you send them an email, it's just a link and they access then the portal, and there they then set their new password. Below that, we can define here the security group that we want to have assigned. Now, that is then the default group, so any new users signing up to the platform or registering on your security environment, so your login page, that would then be the first group they receive. Of course, within the back end of your platform, you can go ahead and make any adjustments you need. Now here for the 2FA or two-factor authentication. Now, this is pretty awesome because we can actually go ahead and enable this for Google authentication or via SMS or via email. Now, there are, I'm going to go stay on topic here actually, because you could do this yourself as well without having to use an API. And in this case, you are forced to use an API. Okay, so you have to use then the Google API to send via the Google Auth, SMS, or the email, and that then works that way. Now, for the operation mode, you as an administrator can decide if everybody has to use the two-factor authentication. And essentially, you're shutting down your project, your platform, and making sure that, not only passwords and usernames are verified, but that then the person themselves are actually verified with an extra key, a number that they then enter, and that then logs them in. Now, I think this is an awesome system to actually implement. And of course, now as administrator, you can either enforce that on everybody or give here the individual user choice. So you let the user decide, do they want to use it? Do they not want to? Or you can enforce it on everybody. So that's quite a nice feature there, And of course, we need to then choose here our API once we choose the two-factor authentication method that we want to use. We have here also, again, the cookie expiration time. And in this case, I would actually keep this one low. So the 300 seconds is good. There's really no need to go any higher than that. Okay, so on our insert data tab here, we define here our username and password, the name, our admin email address, and I cannot, stress this one enough. This email address, do be sure to add your personal email address in here, as in the email address where you are going to receive your administrator alerts, as well as your password recovery. Okay, so that's very important. If you do by chance lose your password and you have to log in again and you need to recover it or whatever it may be, then this is the email address that will receive those emails. So do be aware of that and try and make sure you add a correct email address in there. Now we have then also the add applications. Now for me, this is a very welcome feature because how often have you deployed security, or should I say regenerated security, and then not wanted to apply security to all applications? Now with this checkbox here, we can actually choose which applications we want to apply security to. And of course, we can choose all of them if we want to from here within these selections, or we can just deselect some, whichever we like, and keep those debugging applications or webhooks or whatever else away from security. In that case, I'll just import those and then go ahead and generate the security. So right now, I have noticed this myself. Whenever I come here to the API, if I choose here API, it will then go. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. You're going to force me to do that. Okay. Yeah, I noticed if you don't actually if you don't touch this box here, you will continue with that error without that error message. It's just the fact I went here and refreshed and everything, and now it's actually thinking that there is something there. Okay, so I just have to add then here an API, a sample API in here for that. Sample mail, and I'll just leave here all of these details, 465 SSL. I'll just go like so. And yeah, that will do. Project. Okay, and so just like that, I've added an API in there now. And if I check here, the box here, so it's highlighted. I can actually see that now with my glasses. Yes, I've got glasses now. Okay, so if I now click here, the refresh, and now I can choose here the API. And now, of course, I'll be able to generate the security. But before doing so, you may want to save that security as a profile. So, of course, you don't have to go through all of those options. Like now, I have, of course, just gone and had to reconfigure the tables. Okay, so saving the profile will save me from having to do that again. So now if I go to generate security again, I have the profile there. I don't have to choose all of those tables. And if I want to edit that profile, I can do so. Okay, so just like that, I have then gone ahead and generated a new security with the menu and everything. So let's then go ahead and generate all of the applications because they have all been updated with now security being enabled. Okay, so now that is done, let me come back here then to our login and run that. And now here I have then the new login page. And you can see here we have a much nicer capture now. And I think that's 23EU from what I can make out. I think that's a 2. And we have then our username and password, of course. And do note, of course, the language selection. So I can change the language straight away here on the login page, and note it doesn't change the username and password I have entered, but it does change the captcha. And I guess that's a 5. Sign in. No, it didn't like that one. HG. Okay. And just like that, we then log into our security. Now, one thing I should note, and if I run that again, is that down here, I have here the remember me box. I don't know if some of you noticed, but it didn't work so well previously. It works very well now. So if I check that box, it will actually remember me. I will not have to log in again. Whenever I go to access the page, I'm automatically logged in. It maybe works a little too well because when I now go to log out, it logs me straight back in again, which is awesome. Okay, so now we have here our security, and of course the applications are the same other than the settings. Okay, maybe the user slightly because there is now the position field there, but otherwise that is it. Okay, so we come down here to our settings, and we can now reconfigure pretty much everything we just did within the generation of or setup to generate our security environment. We can now modify pretty much all of those settings here now. So we have here the general tab, and we can now choose straight away from here what to do when the session expires. Nothing, redirect them to the login, display a message, and redirect to login. We can display the remember login or not, and then we can set how many days the login will be remembered for, which is awesome. So we can just say, well, one day, remember it for that day, and then every day they need to log in again. I think that's awesome. Okay, so then we have here also the theme. And if you don't know the new menu, we can, of course, enable the theme up here. Now, I haven't enabled it here yet, but we do have all of our languages displayed here. Okay, but if I go and enable that within the menu, then we will also have all of these themes available here, and give the user then the option to change the theme that they are using. Okay, so the login mode here, we can change this randomly at any time. This will not affect the login process. As I mentioned at the beginning, when we first started, the user login is still the main ID essentially that is used throughout the project. Now, there are other IDs there, and of course we can check some of those out. So if we come here to the app login, you can see a few things then that have maybe changed here. So here on validate, it wasn't on validate, was it? It was actually down here, method validate success. Okay, so here we can see that we are redirecting here to our app menu. So if you ever need to change the menu that you are redirecting to, you just adjust here the menu, or maybe you want to change it depending on the group that they are in or whatever else, and you can adjust that there quite easily. Now on validate success. Okay, so here we have the login mode. There it was, the switch. Okay, so here the application, the login page itself then checks depending on what is presented, well, depending on your settings. Okay, so what you have set here within your security will be then automatically switched over there. Okay, so that's really cool. And we have then our security options here, so we can enable and disable the captcha, change the expiration time of the user's password, change how the recovery is dealt with. We can even enable and disable the two-factor authentication from the back end. Now, of course, the API data would need to be available here, which we do not have added. Now, for new users, we can make various adjustments here, whether they require activation, send email, and that's all then fully functional within the application. And then we have our email settings, which we can also change and configure within the back end. So there's quite a few changes there and quite a few new features. And in general, I think it's pretty awesome. And of course, with the new menu. Okay, so any questions at all? I'm just going to make sure I've covered everything. Password rules, yes. User email access mode, yes. Time for password expiration, yes. Two-factor authentication, yes. Okay, so let's actually just have a quick look here at the menu and enable there also here the top bar items and here the themes. So the themes are enabled. I didn't add any, so let me add them in here as well. Of course, these are all using the menu themes and not the themes from my application. And now I can come here and change the theme. Lovely. Okay, so let's have a look. Abel, hello Abel, and of course I can read all of these names now because, as I mentioned throughout, I got a nice new pair of glasses. I tell you, it's really weird, night and day. Anyway, so Abel, hello. What happens if I don't want security encryption? I know it's not secure. Well, nothing. You just don't have an encrypted password. So the password would be, let me actually come here. Let me open something for that. I can show you. Here we go. And this one here, this will do. Okay, so in your database, for instance, you have here your sec users. So this is your encrypted password. So if you do not apply the encryption to the password, then, well, that would be plain text, which is really not, nobody should know what your password, the admin should not know what the passwords are from their users, really. So that is really bad practice to have an encrypted password stored in your database. And of course, having other data encrypted sometimes also a very good idea, especially when it comes to user data, credit card information and such. So you always want to make sure you have that encrypted. Okay, so let's again, hello. Next question. The settings app will apply for all users or specific one? You'll have to explain that question a little more, Abel, because I'm not entirely sure what you're meaning there. In general, the settings apply to the portal. Okay, so everything I adjust in here is then for the entire portal. Now, if I say here in security, enable two-factor authentication, then again, I can choose whether each user enables that themselves or it is required to be used by everybody. So those are the choices we have there. And of course, you can dynamically change them as and when you please. Now, in general security, I wouldn't go crazy, change these every week. It's not really a good thing to do. Once you set up your platform, you've installed it, configured it how you like it, yeah, leave it. There's no need to be changing it every week. I think if you set the right settings anyway, you should be good. Hello, Jerry. Long time. Can I dynamically switch off the user already logged in feature? User logged in. Okay. So, sorry, where is the user already logged in, Jerry? I'm not entirely sure. What you're meaning there as well. Are you wanting to dynamically kick a user from the platform? I can show you how to do that. That's quite simple. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that question, Joe. Sorry, you have to give me a lot more information to play with. Abel, welcome back. The settings app will apply for all users or a specific one. Example, you and me have access to the same project, yes, but you want to use a theme. Well, on the theme side, if I come here now and I change the theme, this is for me. Okay. If I set it here in the settings, so if I come here to general, and here I set the theme as midnight, then that will be the theme for all of the applications enforced, basically. Now, of course, I can still come here as a user and then, eventually just change here the theme. Okay, so the themes will be applied to all applications. That should be coming in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so that full integration, that will be there as well. So for the user, they will be able to change it. If you don't want them to change the theme, then don't you hide the menu option from them. Yeah, you can probably hide it from the group. Okay, Jerry, if I'm logged in on my PC and then try to log in on my phone, it shows that I'm already logged in. Okay, so that one is because you have generated your security and use the protect users. So when you come through the security module and you generate your security, and actually let me go back and I can't search it, can I? I've got so many here. What do I call it? Group something. Up here. I went past it. I scrolled too fast. I don't see it. Okay, I'm just going to go through. It takes too long. I go user and connection. Use existing tables. Yes. Now here I have to go. I have to do this now, don't I? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Jerry. I'm not going to go through that again. But the options are in here in the settings table. Okay, so when you are here in the settings, you want to just uncheck that. Don't use that option for when you generate. So you don't use it with the security to protect the users. Okay. Otherwise, of course, when you go to log in, the idea of that is that it protects the user. So when you log in, you know that you didn't log out, that somebody else is probably using your account. That's the idea of it. So I would think that, I'm hoping that is no longer an issue with the new security, but you're going to have to let me know on that one, I'm afraid. Kenny, hello, Kenny. I think Jerry means protected, logged in. Yeah, exactly. Kenny. I was just saying, awesome. Hello, Abel, again. Yes, but the theme you can change affect only the menu, not the apps. Yes, but Abel, that will happen. Okay, that will come. So there are one or two adjustments still that need to come. So really wanted to go ahead and release the new menu system with the security because it made sense. And secondly, because, we've been screaming for the new menu for so long. So the new menu, it's not 100% complete. Okay. It is 100% functional. It just does not include all of the features and capabilities that we're wanting to add there yet. So once they're added, they will be added in over the next couple of weeks. I would think over the next month to the latest, everything you would think of wanting to have within the menu will then be available within the menu. And of course, if there is anything you think of that we don't already have within pre-existing within the old menu system, that would be good for this menu system, jump on to the scriptcase.net website, use that chat window and say, hey guys, I think it would be really great if this menu could do X. And for sure, if it's feasible and makes sense, and it's not included within what to be included, then I would imagine it would possibly be included. So just give that a go. Hello, Bernard. How are you doing today? So please show how to edit saved security profile again. Okay, I didn't actually go and do that. Sorry, Bernard. Okay, so if we wanted to edit a saved profile, like all of these profiles I have here, now all of these are, I don't even know where half of these come from. They come from everybody and anybody that I've imported projects from, which makes it very difficult. So let's see, didn't I have general? Let me use this one. And if I come back, general, we had that here. General, yeah, edit. Okay, it's just allowing me to use the edit. Ouch. So group use. Yes, that edit. I was told I was meant to edit. How I feel so stupid now, Bernard. Thank you very much for that one. Wow. Wow. Yes, I have never bothered re-editing. Never had to. I'm always generating afresh, always generating a new security. Always. I've never bothered with the profiles here, which is why I don't understand why so many people use it. Maybe in some complicated setups, or like now in this example that we've had today, where I've had to choose the tables. Yeah, in that case, I guess it would be definitely, but yeah, it doesn't seem like I can actually access the settings here. I think I'll ask for that one though, because yeah, why do we have an edit button there? If we can't just edit the name. How good is that? Pretty useless, isn't it? Okay, so I will ask about that. That we maybe have here the settings available then, and that we can then adjust those settings, because otherwise that's a bit of a shame. That is a bit of a shame. So sorry, Bernard. I can't show you this. Wow. Thank you for that. Hello, Richard. How are you doing? I don't think one you can. Yes. Wow. Yeah, great day. Okay, at least I think I can see things now, because yeah, these glasses are just crazy, and night and day. Okay, so with that, of course, yeah, I will ask for that. So what I'll do is actually take a note really quickly so I don't forget. Ask for edits. Old. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I don't want to share that window. Okay. So do we have any other questions maybe? If anybody would like to ask anything about the new security, of course, please don't ask about editing the old profile. Awesome, Bernard. You got me there. I am, of course, available to answer any questions you have on either the new security, maybe the menu. As I said, the security, from what I understand, is complete. I have had no info there that there are new features or anything going to be added to that. But the menu, yes. So the theme selection and so forth that we have there, and all of those other features, if they're not fully tied together with the main applications yet, they will be very soon. So including here the themes, there will also be, from what I understand, a new theme editor coming for the purpose of this, so it all actually ties together quite nicely. Now, in general, don't forget, of course, when we generate the security, it automatically fills in these fields for us as well. So before we maybe see if there is another question, let me come here to the menu. And here in the menu, we have here our user menu. And there we can see here the global variables, which are then also assigned on user login, and that we can also use throughout our applications. So if you want to customize your application and say, hello name, you have the username as a global variable that you can use at any time. Now, secretly, you've kind of had that for a long time already, but of course, now you can see it there and of course, apply it anywhere you like. Okay, Richard, hello again. Is there an easy way to include a user ID rather than username? Yeah, okay, so I don't know if you noticed here on my table that I had open here. But what I've been doing is I have actually separate tables. So I have a couple extra tables here. So I have here, for instance, the sec salts table. So here, for instance, I would have then the admin login, and then I would be storing a hash here to, secure the security a bit more. I think I think it'd be cool if it's possible. I'm going to do it. So, and other than that, you could, of course, I would do the same thing. So I would just create a separate table, not interfere with these Scriptcase tables, try and leave these ones that you generate as they are. Like, I see quite a few people actually coming in here to the sec users, for instance, and they're then editing this table with their own fields. Now, when you, of course, go to generate your security, well, you're more than likely going to delete that. So that would really be a shame. And you're more than likely going to add the same logins again and everything else. So the best thing is, of course, just create a new table, add the login in there, add your ID in there, add all of your personal platform settings, whatever else you're going to be doing within that application or platform, and just have them in a separate table so that when you come to regenerating your security in the future, or you just want to change it, or for whatever reason, I typically regenerate the security too many times than I can count for a project, but in general, it's with that, it'll be much easier to manage. You can just quickly add a few variables or libraries or whatever you need into maybe the original security applications. Like here, the login, I would add maybe one method in here, add a few, that's it. I'll just add one method in here pretty much, and then just call that method. And then that is then the only thing I would adjust on the majority of the applications. Now, I do kind of lie there actually, because I was kind of actually switching everything over to use SendFox, and we don't have a SendFox API there. So in those cases, I'm having to actually manually change those email recovery applications and so forth. But of course, it's all easy enough to do in Scriptcase. Even without the generator, I think the important thing to note here, this security that we generate, these are all applications that we can also create in Scriptcase. It's really not that difficult to actually do. Okay, so let's jump to the next question. Abel, hello again, Abel. Just one more question. When the manual OS will be updated with the new 9.10? That is a very good question. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest on that one. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, Abel. I guess also over the next month. Of course, now we have Christmas coming up in a week already, and then it's the new year a week later. So yeah, I don't know. I timeline wise, I hope by my birthday, end of January. Otherwise, probably end of February, the latest. Okay. Hello, Kenny. Can you please go through updating security applications in a current project? I actually just did that. This is what I did from the beginning, Kenny. Right from the beginning, Kenny. What I had was pre-existing tables. Okay, so the tables I had here in my database, these were the same tables. Yeah. And of course, if to generate it again. So say, for instance, of course, I know what you mean there, Kenny. If you are starting off here, which I'm guessing is where the majority of you are today, you have your previous security, okay? And you now want to generate a new security with the new module. What do? That is not a big question no more, because I'm going to answer it for you. So here in project, the best thing you want to do is come here and increment your version. Okay, increment. I would advise to do this at every major stage of your project, every major stage. Okay, so whenever you think, right, I finished that, I'm going to move on to the next stage, version your project. It's good practice to do. And at the same time, it will secure your previous or old applications. So just like that, I have versioned my project, and you see the status has changed to outdated. Okay, so I can go ahead now and I'm just going to delete this folder. Somebody's not going to be happy with me. I'll just delete the whole lot. And now, I have no more security. But if I come in here to my version history, and I see here my version 0, and I come here to edit, I have here my security application. I should have hit my security. Did I just get into the wrong one? Yeah, let's go. 1.1. I'm going to cry now. Wow. Wow. Why is it when I go to show something, it doesn't work? That is scary now. Okay. Because yeah, you want to version your project, but if your project is deleting oh my God. Okay. I'm stunned, guys. Sorry. I'm a little stunned on this one because this isn't working. This isn't working. Okay. I think maybe I didn't close my project. No, I'm in 1.1. I'm at 1.01. So why did you? Right, that's gonna bug the crap out of me today. I need to check this now. Right, so if I go security, I'm gonna find my group one here. So I have my previous, like I've just done now. Now, generally, you should version your project and make sure you're in the new version. Like I'm now in version 1.01, which should be good. And then, of course, you can enter the previous version. Didn't I just do that, though? Didn't I enter the previous version? Well, we'll see in a moment. So if I come here now, use existing tables. Okay, so that's the option that I was talking about, Jerry, previously here, the protect logged users. Okay, so that's what you don't want to generate your security with this option here. Okay, and then if I go next here, now I have not all of my fields here filled in, but I do have some of them, which is cool. All right, to factor, picture, and last change. Okay. Well, this one does not have any. So pretty much you'd be going through the same steps what I've doing again now here and choosing all of the fields for your pre-existing tables. Okay. App name, description, and type. Choose here again the group. Use a groups table. Login, group ID, group application, group apps, ID, name, access, insert, delete, update, export, and print. And then we have here our settings table, set name and value, and next. Right, so with that done, you could then go ahead and generate your security again. Okay, and Kenny, you just generate. And I need to okay, so come here, email settings, custom, yeah, generate security. Didn't I? Oh, I'm not having fun on this now. It was not. Wow. But I have. Okay. Didn't I not? I need to enable again, do I? Okay, so come back to security. It's refresh. It's enabled. Right. That's fine. I don't care about the options. Yes, we can save it again. Now, obviously, in that case, maybe Bernard, maybe that's what you were looking for there to overwrite previously. Now, that just did give me an error message. And like you see, I now have a blank screen on my security. Now, who knows where that just went wrong on overwriting the previous security? Do you like using me as a test bunny? That's awesome. No, I like it though. Thank you, Bernard. That's really cool. That's good to see though, because yeah, that's very, I don't overwrite. Like I said, because I have, yeah, you've seen my security here, all the profiles. This is insanity. So for me to think about saving a profile, well, no, it's faster for me just to go through the settings again and just regenerate those tables. Excuse me. So yeah, I honestly, that's very good to know. I need to take note of that. Oh, it says screen sharing pause now. Okay, I can't do that. Every time I pick the other screen, sorry about that. I didn't realize it does that. So, okay, Bernard, thank you very much for letting me know about that. We'll check that one out. Okay, now I want to see about this version here. I wanted to generate an application, so I'm going to regenerate everything first of all. And now you give me an error on the theme. Nice. I don't even know if I had the green theme here selected. Sec users as well. Why do did you generate? I think it may have generated the security application somewhere, because there, look at that. Okay, so we have our security here, which has been generated. Let me see if it works. No, and that's why it's giving me these errors. See, okay, that's really bad. Well, I would imagine, all of these bugs, of course, anything like that will be resolved very soon. Now, in general, I would not, like I said, I would not bother using the save the profile, not unless you really, really have to. Like I said, for myself, it's just been easy enough and quick enough just to go through the settings. It takes 2 minutes. It's no big deal. And then just generate that way. And of course, it's pretty much all I can say here. Anyway, okay. So thank you very much for that, Bernard. That was very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so let me see. Any other questions here? Rupesh, hello, Rupesh. How do we capture the version number in our code? You mean the version of this project version? Yeah, you don't. This is Scriptcase development environment. You don't have this version of your project. Of course, in that case, I would, if that's something you wanted to add, I would just add another table for that and version it yourself within the project. Maybe even, create a little script for that. So every time you actually upload it, or it, detects new pages, something along those lines. I don't know how you would really do that. It would need some thought, but I would think you could do something along those lines. Hello again, Kenny. Sorry. Hello, Kenny. This question is not related to security. Okay. But is there a way to show the incremented version on the new menu system? Incremented version? How do you mean incremented version? The new version. I can show the new version very quickly. Let me just go new application. Okay, we have here the new menu, responsive menu, which is really cool. And the old menus are here. So that's where the tree menu is now as well. So you can come in here, and if you want the old menu, just click create. If you want the old tree menu, you can use that one. And then you have the responsive menu. So if I go create, and then of course I can import all of my applications in here, customize them accordingly. Now, one of the new features here is the option to define as a shortcut, okay? And that will then basically place it here within your toolbar items, and then in here you can organize them. And that then gives you those options or those shortcuts within the applications. It's nice. The only thing I'm not too keen on is that you are forced to have them visible here. So you need to define a shortcut like that. And if I come here, it's then available here. See? Okay, so that's actually a cool feature. And at the same time, you've got the description field here. So when you have that displayed within the menu, then here, the description would actually be displayed on one of these menus. I'm not sure entirely which one it was now. I think it was the mobile menu. And of course, we've still got some options here anyway. So the user menu that you have up in the corner here, that's this one here. Okay, you can switch that off entirely. You have that here, just switch it off and it'll be gone. And you can customize the links here. So here, for instance, you would add then the user profile or whatever else you have in there. And those are then available to the end user, which is really cool. Toolbar items. So here we can enable or disable the search, the language, enable, disable for the themes. So if you don't want to allow users to change the themes, you just uncheck that there. The shortcuts, again, we just uncheck these. If we don't want these in our menu, just uncheck them. Come then to the layout. Now we have here a new feature added in the last couple of days, I think, which is here the enable loader. which actually gives then a page spinner. I think that's quite nice myself. I think that's really cool. Kind of needed in some cases, so I will enable that. And we have here the option to show the shortcut title and of course change the orientation of our menu from horizontal or vertical. I like the vertical, the horizontal is cool as well. And then here the option to split the toolbar. So if I add a logo in here, for instance, add that one, and here we have then a compact logo. Let me stick that one in there. So the compact logo is for the mobile version of the menu, and this logo is then the full-sized. So if I go run, there we have it then with the menu there now. Let me zoom out so we actually see. There we go. No, it's still giving me the mobile version. Did I have that checked somewhere? Enable user menu. No. Toolbar items. No, we're not forcing that anywhere here. Okay, so then it's probably the browser because of the size. Okay, so here for vertical, let's check that one out. Now notice we have here the profile up here, and here the option to reduce the size. See, and then the alternative logo is there, which is quite nice. Now, images are not supported, so images are not imported either. And if you want to import your old menu, you got the option here. Just click that import menu, select your old menu, and it will import all of your menu items, just not the images if you have any, but it will import the Font Awesome icons and so forth. Okay, so it's fully Font Awesome iconified, you could say. Now here for the layout, you also have here the enable toolbar, as I pointed out previously. Let's go ahead and run that again. That then removes the toolbar, and then, like you see, places the profile here in the left-hand side. Now, of course, I could remove the user menu, and that then also removes it from the menu entirely. So there's quite a few options there. I actually really like it. I've been using it for quite a few days now with a couple of different projects. And yeah, I really do like it. It's pretty cool. So of course, once the new features come to that as well, I'll be looking forward to that. Hello again, Kenny. So, yes, okay, yes, I hope that answers your question there, Kenny. Bernard, hello. I already had used a page to show current version of project. Maybe this is the question. Use the page to show current version of project. Okay, well, yeah, the version, well, you could store that either in JavaScript text or whatever in the page and auto increment that in some way, for sure, I would think. I don't know. It's, like I said, it requires some thought, but yes, you could put that into a page, into the menu, and ideally you have a table there somewhere in your database, and that's where you then store all of those versions, and maybe even keep a log of what happens on those versions. I think that would be good. Okay, so Kenny again. Hello, Kenny again. When I increment the version in the development, it will show on the front end. Okay, here's my front end. I have no version here, Kenny. It's not automatically assigned anywhere. Not in a set. Yeah, got me a little perplexed now, my friend. Because I see no version. Yeah, there's no version anywhere, just here within the environment. But yeah, like I said, you could just create yourself a nice little table, have the version numbers there, the project titles, the description, maybe the updates, and of course, maybe even a log of what was done during those. Yeah, you can create your own logging system. Well, Scriptcase is just awesome like that. You can create pretty much anything you want anyway. And well, with that, we have come to an end with all of the questions. So I hope you have all of your answers, and if not, well, I hope you will have them soon. Not by Santa Claus, of course, but yeah, within the next update or two, with the new menu features that will be added to improve the current integration of applications and so forth. Okay, so like the themes look nice, and hopefully one or two of these bugs that you had pointed out to me today will also be dealt with too, which I would imagine so, because yes, Scriptcase are always updating, as you know. Okay, so with that, I wish you all an amazing festive season, and if you don't celebrate, then I wish you a great time anyway. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope to, of course, catch you all again next year with a new year of awesome Scriptcase updates and features that, of course, are constantly being added into the environment. So thanks for watching. And of course, until the next session.